Who can I rely on in this life? Not many, but some are just faithful and want to help you. How can I ever distinguish between those that are faithful and those that aren't? Yes, it is good for a volunteer to help, but to pay them, those especially go out of their way to work for you, they're very important. A worker is worth his wages. Bless them. Every good work has a value, a purpose, a benefit. Forget not all his benefits. There's always a payment for what we do in this life. There's never a void of it. It might look like an action does not find its reward, but every action does have its reward. And the longer the delay of the reward, the more interest it accumulates. The fruit of our works always remains during this life. It may manifest as ways we did not expect, but those works in this life always will bear its fruit. It cannot stop bearing. As we sow, we shall reap. Don't care what you did or are doing, the fruit will arrive. It cannot stop coming. And it is not what happens to us, but how we receive what happens. We can continue a continuous rat race of events or stop them, change our direction. One man feels God has given him far more than he deserves, and another feels that he's been shortchanged by him. But now the attitude towards what happens to us is an opportunity for new seed. Good seed or evil seed. If you know God is for you, then every event is received in the right spirit, good or bad. One in a hurricane, one man loses his house and curses God. And the neighbor who also lost his house thanks God for saving him and his family. The same event. One drawing us closer to God and one attitude taking us away. I had a heart attack. And one curses God for having it, and the other thanks God for saving his life, that he didn't die. It's never the circumstances that is the problem, but our attitude. Good or bad. Good circumstances, negative circumstances, our attitude. One inventor sees he has created a glue that doesn't stick well, and that's what he was looking for. And he scraps the whole idea. Another sees that glue that didn't work, that failure apparent seemed to be a failure, but something great comes out of it, and he creates Post-it notes, a glue that doesn't ruin the paper when it's pulled off. And so this discovery by the first man, the identical discovery, was a failure to him. But the second man looks at all situations and observes the outcomes and doesn't judge too quickly. It's never the situation that fails us, but our attitude to what happens to us. To one, all the failures of products and ideas are just failures. They're just gone. Move on to others. They see and then others, they see every failure as an opportunity to create a whole new product or idea. Situations are never the problems, unless we make it so with our attitude and our actions, or lack of action. The question is always, what can I learn from this situation I'm in? The funny part is many of the greatest discoveries were visible for hundreds of years, but no one ever saw the solutions, hidden in plain view. But for some, a vision of opportunity. How many doctors for hundreds of years delivering babies and carrying the disease from one baby to the next, never washing their hands, so causing the spread of disease and causing many unnecessary deaths. And yet, here is a midwife looking after one's pregnancy and only looking after one and having much greater success. Why? Because of cleanliness, because of not spreading one germs from one pregnancy to the next. Here's a fairly obvious reason why midwives have had much better success, but it took one doctor to figure it out after hundreds of years of doing it wrong. Now you might say, but all good ideas are taken now, there's none left. Like in the 1800s, the head of the patents office says, we could close it down now, all the ideas have been thought, we don't need the patent office anymore. Wrong. We've just begun. You say, but I have more problems than anyone else I know. But maybe the right answer is, I have more opportunities than anyone else I know. We often think that our background and our training is lacking. No, it's our belief in ourselves is lacking. That I'm not enough, that I'm not smart enough, that I don't have enough training, I don't know enough. All wrong answers. When you consider how many breakthroughs have been made by men in fields they know almost nothing about, just good observation skills. Well, here's what I wrote. All the glue you just made could be a new product and create Post-it notes. Anyone could have seen the solution after the fact. They used this accidental glue, but it was never discovered by some. If we don't closely observe all the things that happen from our tests and tries, we miss opportunity. And if we don't experiment to start with, well, we'll never have accidentally anything good happen. Keep in mind, probably just as many breakthroughs have come out of accidental combinations of situations and whatever compounds that were not intended. If you think you can't come up with anything original, and of course this is self-imposed limitation, then one area that has been extremely successful for a business has been applying one successful method in one industry or business and then taking it to a different field, and it works like a charm so often. A man I knew and followed, Koskin, found a man with a product, mailman product. It's a product that he sold to mailmen to ward off attacking dogs by spraying them and stopping them in their tracks. Kosmin said to this inventor, well, how many do you sell these a year? And let's say he said 1,500 units a year. Can't remember the exact figure, but the principle. You got to be looking for principles here, not exact numbers. Cosman said, I'll make a deal with you. You're making a profit of $50,000 a year right now. I'll guarantee you $100,000. Just keep making the product. You will make $100,000 and you'll make all I need. Plus we'll give you 2% of everything you sell on top of that. I will take over the product and I will pay you that $100,000 plus a percentage. You just keep making it. And I'll take care of the sales. So what do you think Cosman did? Not Postman, but every woman who wanted to carry a product, a can of mace in their hand to spray on attackers. And guess what? He made millions from that application that was only being applied to mailmen and now is applied to half the populations. He had 10 other products. Each one of them made over $1 million, and I'm talking 50 years ago. In today's dollars, is tens of millions. Now, could you or I, if we were looking and observing closely, could we have done this too? Yes. And with the explosion of technology today, do you think that just maybe we could find a novel application for some of the technology breakthroughs that have come on the market right now and apply it to something new that no one has thought of yet? The drug that a doctor created for heart problems, and some saw a different use of it because it caused this heart medicine caused men to have erections. Guess what? Viagra. Okay. So the doctor set out to solve one problem, but he solved a real big one. You don't have to be a genius to come up with this application. Most patents are sitting there unused because the inventor had a great product, but has no idea of its applications, or maybe knew one application only. As Cosman said over 50 years ago, just look through the patents that are out there that are coming online, and then find new applications for it, get the rights for it, and go hog wild with it. You don't have to be a genius here. You can use someone else's genius product. You just have to be the marketing guy who found the product and figure out the application. I get overwhelmed with these ideas sometimes. They're so amazing. And I say, why am I not doing that? What is needed? Set up teams and opportunities. We have overwhelming opportunities. We need to work together. I often think of the toothpaste marketer idea. He went to the manufacturer and said, I can increase your profit by 50%. And he said, how much profit do you make right now? And they said, 10% on each tube of toothpaste. So if you could sell 20% more products with minimal costs, that would increase your profit by at least 50%. And they said, well, how are you going to do that? Well, sign this non-disclosure agreement, I'll tell you. And he came up with this. Make the hole bigger. And now 20% more toothpaste comes out, and people are used to using a line of toothpaste, but it's a little bigger than normal, but they didn't notice it. People are used to putting, say, an inch of toothpaste. And out of habit, they keep doing that, except unknown to them, the hole got bigger. Okay. Now, if you think about it, you or I could have come up with that idea, but only if we were looking for opportunity and observing what was going on. I have a man I interviewed with pens. Do you think that maybe pens have been around for a while, everything has been figured out by then? Apparently not. This guy wanted to supply pens for left-handed people, developed this pen, patent it, was fantastic, sold thousands of pens. But suddenly he gets a call from a sheik in the Middle East and says, I want you to fly out here. And he said, I want to buy millions of these pens because we write from right to left, and your pen solves the problem we have. Now, do you think any of us could have come up with a curved pen? No one else did for thousands of years. Or one that made it anyway, that was making any money. But he did. And his original idea wasn't near as good as the advanced application the sheik came up with. One idea can change your life forever. One good idea. I know friends that came up with a discovery for new technology for a neon type of light, very advanced technology, and the engineers could never figure it out, and these people figured it out. And when I heard about it, I said, well, let me make a deal together with you, and we'll see what we can do, and I'll promote the heck out of it, and let's patent it, let's run with it. But instead, they said, no, we're just going to keep it. Guess what? They never did anything. Someone else probably patented it, and they ran with it, and the idea died. Don't hold your ideas back. Don't hide ideas, especially when you have someone that can help you make something out of the idea. How many great ideas have men had, and they went to the grave with them? Like a dog with a bone. He's full. That dog's full, but he doesn't want anyone else to have that bone. So he's going to hide that bone. Then he forgets where he put the bone, so now no one but the bugs eat it. How many inventions have fallen in that category? Even if your idea got stolen, and it can happen, is that the last idea you're going to have? How about innovating so fast that the thieves can't keep up with you, and you keep improving, improving, improving? You can't keep down a good innovator. Let's look at Disney for a second. He brought out a cartoon called, I believe, Oscar the Rabbit. His first cartoon really was going over well, really going to make some serious money. And he was working with his lawyer, and he signed some papers and didn't realize he signed the whole thing over to the lawyer, and the lawyer ended up with Oscar the Rabbit. And he thought, wow, all the animals are gone. I don't know what to do. And he thought, well, the mouse hasn't been used yet for cartoons. So he created, you know who, Mickey Mouse. And guess what? Mickey Mouse is still here. Oscar the Rabbit's long gone. But he got a lot smarter. And this time, he didn't sign a bunch of papers without reading them. And he figured out how to protect his idea, and his family are making a fortune of it even today. So any loss can be used as a stepping stone, and he used it as a stepping stone, the loss of Oscar the Rabbit. And remember, principles are far more important than the details. The details have their place, but not in the front of discovery. You can't let details to trip you. You need to say, okay, I see the principle is going to work. We're going to work out the details here. I hope this was of help. Amen.